A friend of mine texted me a couple of days ago and said, NotebookLM is giving me life. and I couldn't agree more. Well, that spurred me to jump in front of the camera and finally do some long-awaited demos on NotebookLM's updated capabilities. I did my first demo on NotebookLM, gosh, about 9 months ago now, maybe even a little bit longer. And it's just continued to get better and better and better. So if you haven't seen that video before, the first NotebookLM demo, and I've demoed bits and pieces of it in conjunction with other things, but I want to do a series of videos to show you just how powerful this tool is. NotebookLM is a tool that is available with Google. And all you need is a Google Gmail account. Doesn't matter if it's free. The capability seems to be exactly the same for a free version as it does for a paid version. And I know this because I use the paid version because all of my business is on the Google Suite. So my business is completely run through Google. My partner, however, he is a PC guy and he runs everything through Microsoft. So he has Outlook for his email, and I had him jump on to, he does have a free Gmail account just for personal use, and I had him jump on to NotebookLM, and it seems to be that the capabilities are the same. So with that in mind, let me show you what it is. This is what we are inside of is a notebook. Now, NotebookLM was originally created for the educational sector. So you set up notebooks. You can see I have a ton of different notebooks for a number of different things. I want to demonstrate two things for you today. I want to demonstrate the report feature as well as the mind map feature. And to do that, I'm going to look at PwC's latest CEO survey. If you follow my Future Proof newsletter or a lot of the other updates, you know that I've been talking about that a lot. It's a survey that I look forward to every single year at this time, their annual Global CEO survey. So let's jump into this notebook. First of all, I just found this, and I'm not sure if it's new or if I just hadn't seen it before, but you can actually customize your notebooks. You can configure the chat so that it has different emphasis. So by hitting this little icon up here, I've pulled up this configure chat. Notebooks can be customized to help you achieve different goals, to do research, help learn, show various perspectives, or converse in a particular style and tone. So here are a couple of little things that you can customize. Define your conversational goals, style or role, default, learning guide, or custom. And if you go into custom, you can actually give it a custom default. I haven't played with that yet. I find it perfectly acceptable doing what it's doing, but I may play with that a little bit more. The other thing that you can do with it is choose your response length, default, longer, or shorter. But you can do that in the various tools that you use within NotebookLM. Okay, so that's just a little bit about getting started with NotebookLM. As I said, you create notebooks based on sources. Now, the notebooks do not cross over to other notebooks. So for instance, I have, again, a ton of notebooks. This notebook will not cross over to any of these other notebooks that I've created. Everything that I ask it to do within the confines of the notebook, it does using the sources that I've selected. Well, how do you put sources in there? Easy. You upload anything that you want. You can upload files from your computer. You can upload websites. You can upload documents for your Google Drive. Again, this is a Google product. Or you can just copy text. And to do that, I, of course, use Whisper Flow to dictate what I want to say, and then I put it in there. Really, really easy. But what if you don't know all the sources that you want to use? Well, you can actually add sources from the web as well. You can have it search for new sources, and it typically comes up with about 10 of them. So if you go onto the web, you can either drop down from the, you can either search the web or search your Google Drive, but you put in a chat prompt. So other sources around recent CEO results, for instance. I'm not going to demonstrate that. You can do that. You can do that yourself in your own time. So what I want to demonstrate today is its report writing capability as well as the mind map. You can query any of these sources, and you just, either select certain sources that you want to use in anything that you do, or you can select all sources. You can query it, you can ask it a question about anything and it will keep your chat history, or you can do some very specialized things. I want to show you a couple of the specialized things. If you go up here into this upper right hand side, and I will get rid of my camera for a minute, and you can see all of these selections. So they've got an audio overview. And I'll show you that in the next video. A video overview, I'll show you that in another video. The mind map I'll show you today, reports I'll show you today, flashcards, quizzes, I'll show you all of this. The infographic, the slide deck, and the data table. As you can see, you can customize many of these just by clicking on the little pencil icon. But today, I want to show you the report writing capability, as I said. So I'll turn my camera back on, and we will go into the reports. As you can see, it generates various reports that you might want to choose. And here, you can also do your custom. So create your own report. You can do it in a different language if you'd like. That might be handy for some of you. Describe the report that you want to create. Again, you can create a prompt to have it create its own report. But why do that when some of the reports are just so comprehensive? I haven't found a need to do that. It automatically, for every notebook, comes up with a briefing document, a study guide, and a blog post. However, for the specific sources, it creates different types of reports that you might want to generate. So for these sources, a corporate strategy white paper, leadership excellence manifesto, a conceptual primer, an economic sentiment profile. The list goes on. Actually, it doesn't. That's it. If I had a different set of sources, it would come up with some different suggestions. So let me show you what I mean here. I'll go back into my notebooks and I will look at, there is one that has, here we go, New South Wales governance. So this is a notebook titled New South Wales Governance and Legislative Process. I worked with this notebook for a client of mine that was looking for specific legislation. We were doing a demo on researching specific legislation. So again, if I go into the reports here, it's got the briefing document, the study guide, the blog post, stock standard stuff, but it is coming up with a new set of suggestions, and they will be different from the other notebook suggestions because they're different sources. So the first one that comes up is legislative impact assessment. That wasn't on the other notebook. Administrative governance profile, introductory overview, procedural narrative. So it contextualizes based on the sources what types of reports you might want to see. So let's go back into the PwC reports. And I've created these, a couple of reports already. And I'll show you the actual sources. It's not easy, unfortunately, to pull up the sources into NotebookLM. At least I haven't found a way to do that easily. So let's go over to Acrobat and I can show you the two reports. The main report, Leading Through Uncertainty in the Age of AI, that is the global results from PwC. It's 25 pages. What's interesting is the Australian result is 23 pages. Last year it was 2, but this year they had a lot to say about Australia. So these are the sources, and this is a fairly stock standard PDF report, really, really chock full of great information. So I'll go back into NotebookLM. Let's see what it came up with in terms of a briefing document. So this is the briefing document, 29th Global CEO Survey. And it has a couple of tables in here. This is enough, and again, it's a briefing document. It's not a comprehensive report. If you wanted to generate a comprehensive report, you would just give them the report. But this is a briefing document. So you can use this. You can send it, I would send it to my clients, let's say, or I would use this to update my C-suite. If I were a CEO, I would update my executive team on the CEO preferences. So let's go back to that. And it did use two sources, the Australian and the global version. The other thing that I wanted to show you is the mind map here. So again, that's just one of the various reports that it can generate. The mind map is interesting. The mind map is really useful. You can certainly print this out if you'd like, but it's really useful, I find, if you want to drill down into and look at specific things within the sources. So it creates a mind map for you. So this is the 29th Global CEO Survey, and it's broken down into a few categories, as you can see. Let's say that you want to expand. What does it have to say about artificial intelligence? Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Well, there are, whoops, hello, I got out of that. Go back into the mind map, artificial intelligence, and make this a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can increase it here without using my fingers so I don't do the same thing that I did. Okay, so it has adoption barriers, value realization, and foundational practices. Let's go into value realization. 14% gain in Australia, 30% revenue gains from AI globally. So if I wanted to query that, I can click on that, and as you can see, that's the end of the road. It doesn't look further at that. So what is it saying? So clicking on that has created a prompt. Discuss what these sources say about 14% AU revenue gains from AI in the larger context of value realization. And it's querying the sources, and then you get that. So if you didn't know what questions to ask, you could mind map this and then drill down into various areas that you're interested in and get some additional detail. But then it gives you some more questions that you can ask it. So how can Australian CEOs break through the chatbot ceiling? Let's go into that. And again, it's not making this stuff up. It is containing its answers to the sources that you provide. So it's not going out, it's not working as an LLM. It doesn't go out into the internet and find the answers to this. It finds the answers to whatever questions based on the sources for the mind map that you create or for the reports that you create. It is just such a clever, clever tool. So that's a little bit about NotebookLM, just kind of an introductory primer. The next series of videos that I will go through will show you some of this other functionality. So join me then.